Mhm.
You are moving away from the things that remind you maybe of oppression or struggle. And I get it. Like we all want to feel like we made it to a certain degree. I was listening to a interview, and someone asked a question about if Nipsey Hussle had left the hood, maybe he would be alive today. And I'm thinking to myself, well, dang, I did that. So, you and I share something in common. We are graduates of Luther Burbank High School, which is a hood school back in the
Mhm.
day, right? I'm the class of 1989. So back then, Burbank was nicknamed Blood Bank because bloodshed could happen at any time because of gang fights and intercommunal violence. I can remember being 18 and making a very critical decision in my life. I'm going to college and I'm going as far away from here as I can.
Mm.
I don't want to end up like Shaniqua and them having 5 babies before I'm 25, right? That was a conscious decision. But what I noticed as I got older is my hood did not change over time.
Mm.
And so I came back to that very same hood and I asked myself, how can I be instrumental in helping the folks that didn't make it out? Helping their children realize that there's a way to stay in the hood and live the American dream, live our dream, because it's been an American nightmare for Black folks, if you ask me. But
Mhm.
then that gives me an opportunity to go to people who are in elected positions of power and say, why haven't there been any changes in Meadowview in 30 plus years? Ask yourself that. Where's the tax base and the tax dollars to go and support those children, those schools, those communities, that employment and under unemployment level? Why is poverty still a thing in that community? And you can see that all around this country, that there's a hood everywhere that somebody's struggling to get out of.
Yep. And that need so what Sonia just did, you guys, is that damn, that's insightful because most of us, if you're looking at despair and poverty in streets with all type of shit on them and not good grocery stores and not a lot of malls, not a lot of restaurants, a smart person to say, I don't want to have to deal with this. A smart
I
person.
want out.
But people always, because rappers and hip hop, I love hip hop, they always hit you with, you got to get out the hood, you got to get the hood. I say yeah, but create the caveat, fellas. You leave,
Yes.
then you come back in the capacity in which you can help the most. You may not be a political
Yes.
figure, you may not have a lot of money. Just go back and look around and say, damn, what can I do? I made it out. Sometimes my voice is enough. Walking around the park I used to grow up in and say, hey, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a construction worker, I'm something different than
Right.
these guys. I look cool just like these dudes y'all looking up to. Try this. See, so sometimes we
Absolutely.
think we two things can be right at the same time. You cannot like poverty
Yes.
and despair, but want to help the people. Every people think they gotta choose one sometimes. Sonia, and
Yeah.
that's the wrong way. You gotta love your people while still being frustrated with the system, with
Yeah.
how we have participated. Like you can do both, right? So Sonia, answer me
Absolutely.
this. If you had to go to this high school, boom, you get the call. We just had a mock slave auction. Our
Yeah.
teachers don't know what to do. Our
Yeah.
teachers don't think it was that bad. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you approach the conversation with them?
If I were a parent and had children at that school, I would be asking my children, one, to lend their voice, and how does that make you feel? So let's break down the narrative, right? And let's use the appropriate language to identify so that we can then begin to process what feelings might come up. So I can remember being a teacher back in the day, and there was this trend of hands-on learning experiences. And when it came to history in particular, they wanted to teach. I can remember this like it was yesterday, and this had to be at least 20 years ago, 15 years ago. But they wanted us to teach the Middle Passage by having students lay down in rows next to each other so that they felt what it feels like to be in close proximity to each other. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, so you want us to feel like a slave, right? Okay, so you want us to feel like we are in prison because there's this leap that we can make in correlation to slavery and that of our prison system, but I won't go there yet. So if I'm a parent and I'm hearing this, because I consider myself well read, culturally, informed about my Black history. I'm pulling my babies aside and saying, look, this is why this isn't okay. And I'm gonna need you to be as vocal as possible and fight for your. So there are 3 things that I always teach young people that is important. Your voice is important. And so every opportunity you get, use your voice. The second is agency. Identify what your needs are, right? So if you need this, say, I need to fight for that. And then become an advocate, because agency is about yourself. Advocacy is about you fighting for others. So your voice, you use it to fight for your needs and then take it to the next level and fight for others. And so that would be my prescription to any young person in that situation. And if they weren't heard, I think it's the responsibility of Black parents to then go in there and demand some things. As an outsider looking in who does this work, who has experience in the school system, I've been making phone calls over to Yuba City Unified for the past week and a half, like, tag me in. I got some solutions for you, right? Tag me in. You're going to write the check, but tag me in, because this is not no faint of heart. We ain't going to have no kumbaya moments. Yes, having these challenging conversations are going to evoke a little bit of silence and uncomfortability. But once we get past the silence and uncomfortability, there are some solutions. And all you have to do is present it in a way that tugs on the heartstrings of people, because at the end of the day, like you said,